Let's start out with the simple one, which is our first one. And the first bit of code that's here, if you looked in my original without all the comments in it, org, and then this address right here. Now notice the bank's given on this one, 94. This is another piece of code. All this above here, actually all this above right here, besides the low ROM, actually no, the low ROM is, all that's coded up there is for the compiler. It's not for the actual ASM work of Super Metroid. If you put those codes in the ASM or in the ROM itself, it would give you errors. Because this piece right here tells the compiler to go to this part of the ROM. Because this is where the value for, or the information for air, full X-ray with a BTS of 3 is stored. Now I wish I knew how to figure out where those were at, but I don't. But in Insomnia's hack, or not hack, his tile.asm, he had this, so I knew where that was located because he used the same BTS block and how to get to different ones. So I already knew that that's where it goes. But I'm not sure where other ones, like how to find other blocks, like solid blocks with a BTS of 5 or something like that. I'm sure you could find it just with experimenting and see what it changes. But for right now, just remember that that's where BTS03 of air full X-ray is. Now this piece of code pretty much makes a new pointer that's just a temporary folder or pointer called in the address B300 BTS3, easy remembrance. And then you're telling it, okay, now jump to 94, and in that pointer I just temporarily made a second, just for a little bit. So all this does right here is says, okay, we know where it needs to be stored, make a temporary folder, write our code in the temporary folder, and then after the code's done, store it back to where the original one is. So, now we get into the actual ASM. These 3 lines are what this certain piece does. That's it. That's all the ASM there is in this whole, for BTS3. So let's figure out what it does. We have LDA. LDA stands for load into the accumulator. What are we going to load? We load the vertical up because it's the right piece. And what is vertical up equal to? We just go back up here. Vertical up is equal to the number 003. So, if you can think of it, if you don't understand it that way, just think of it as a package. You just loaded up something inside a package. You loaded the number 3 into a package. Now, we have to go bring that package to somewhere so something can open it up and do whatever it needs to do with it. So, that's what this does. It says store what's in the accumulator, which is right now vertical up because that's what we loaded into the accumulator. Now we're going to store what's in there, or store what's in the basket or the box at vertical distance. And what's vertical distance equal to? It is equal to the address, because there's no pound symbol, 0b2e, which we looked up, is Samus's vertical speed. So it's taking the number 3 and loading it into vertical distance 3. And then, now that that's loaded, it just returns back to the original flow of the code where it came from. Now it just constantly is going to run this over and over again. Now I'm going to go ahead and break off and show you just what that piece does by itself. So let's minimize stuff. And now here's how you're going to use your compiler also. You're going to have to go to, well, first go to your folder that you're going to have it in. Have your SMC ROM in there, the XCOS ESE in there, of course, and all its other files that go with it, and also your ASM file right here, AirTube ASM. So then you go to a command line, go to your folder. Mine started out at admin. I needed to get to Metroid Tools. Once you get to Metroid Tools, or the folder that it's in, you just run XCOS, the name of your ASM file, in this case AirTube, is it S at the end? I forget. No. AirTube.asm, and then space, and then the name of your ROM. I have minus AMS, spelled it wrong, but .smc. Enter. There you go. If it gives you some kind of error or something, that means there's something wrong with your ASM code. Or maybe with your ROM, I don't know. Now, let's go ahead and open this. And go to here. Alright, now let's just use the 3 and see what it does. Just find something black or something so you know it's clear. this is like a black. It's fine. Oh no, it's not. That's clear too. Oh no, that's the tile. I got a glare so I couldn't see it. Black's normally right. There it is. Okay. Or not. Guess they're all clear for me today. This'll work. I haven't used black. There we go. Okay, so just make a little area here. This is black. Actually, let's make it a little bit higher, all the way up to here. Now remember, for order for it to work correctly, we need to make it air full X-ray. Just make sure it's all air full X-ray, or at least most of it here. And then BTS of 0.3. And then all the way down. Okay. Alright, now, sorry, that was fun. Now we have air BTS 0.03 all throughout the whole thing. Or air full X-ray, actually. Remember, it has to be full X-ray. So let's save it and see what it does. I'll just load like right here. Okay. If you notice, nothing happens when I get into it. Okay. Now if I jump, Samus goes this high. But if I jump here, Samus constantly goes up until the end. And notice when she falls, it's a constant speed. She doesn't increase in falling speed. If I go out here, she'll fall faster. Now what our code did is it took once Samus had a vertical speed. In other words, once she jumped, or even if you bombed, whenever you have a vertical speed, it took out what it was, which would have been whatever the value is whenever she jumps, and it slowly increases or decreases, and manually switched it out to a 0003. And then it kept it there until she's out of the block. So you can't, once I let go of jump, it switches it to like a -3, so then that's why it stays at a constant -3. But like if you bomb, there's no way to get going down. You can't even get out of bomb. You're just stuck going up until you get to the top. Now, so all it does is it switches out what her vertical speed and keeps it at the 3, as I just said. And then same thing when she's going down. No matter how fast she's going, once she touches this block, it's going to switch it to vertical of 3. And then you notice there I was slowly falling, and it'll speed it up too. If I was falling slower than I was supposed to be, it'll start to speed it up just like a little bit. It was hard to notice. So that's what this piece of code did. It took 2 lines, and you could create a tube that goes on forever, and then like anti-gravity, just jump, and it'll go on forever, whatever you wanted it to do until you let go of jump. And then you could flip from the side, and then once you get into it, it's going to keep going up. Okay, so that's what that did. And now